Euthanasia, another very controversial issue. In my opinion, the objections to euthanasia raised here are silly, fatuous, frivolous. The religious beliefs, once again, one is assuming that one knows what God approves or disapproves of, which I find insulting. We don't know that. It's hiding behind some creed, some doctrine, some belief that one supposes. Anyway, the assumption that we are here in this earth, living in this world, to face and overcome challenges. Well, that's a bit of moral preaching that I find a little bit absurd too. We don't know why we're here. If you like, assume that, but there's nothing to base a law on. It could lead to an epidemic of suicides. What if every time people got depressed, they went to someone who might assist them in suicide? I don't think so. It's easy enough if one is determined to commit suicide. One can find a way pretty easily. Just go to the top of some building. That's the Korean style. And there are enough others ways to do it. So no, I don't believe that. Depressions pass. This is true. But really, the number of people who try to commit suicide or actually commit suicide is so small, is so insignificant. To treat this as some social issue, I find absurd. Now, these doctor-assisted deaths, because that's what we're really talking about, like Dr. Kevorkian, Jack Kevorkian, who was a star, but he was sent to prison finally. Actually, he forced the courts to send him. He's a kind of hero, I think. But anyway, apart from that, I suppose it is a problem to determine who is and who is not terminally ill. And there are always those amazing cases of what is called, I think, spontaneous remission, when the person hopelessly terminally ill suddenly recovers. And we think, oh my God, what if we had let that person or assisted that person in committing suicide? That person would not today be alive. That's true, but is that something to base this on? No. The most enlightened places in the world, I would assume, Netherlands, Switzerland, I'm sure Scandinavia, I'm sure Sweden and Norway and Finland too, and the U.S. state of Oregon legally permit these doctor-assisted suicides. And I think that's a very enlightened view. Not all doctors are trustworthy, but most doctors are in matters like this, in matters of this kind, where life and death are at stake, in my opinion. But I think most people share that view. The morality of the question, I don't see any morality of the question. There is no moral aspect to the question. There's only the practical aspect. To mix morality into this, I think, is what shall I say, irrelevant. Morality is not a relevant issue to this question, in my opinion.
Euthanasia. 1. What are some bad arguments against euthanasia? 2. What is hard to determine in doctor-assisted suicides? 3. Name some places that allow doctor-assisted suicides. 4. What do you think about euthanasia and doctor-assisted suicides? Defend your answer from a practical, not moral, point of view.